Are you a crocheter who loves the look of a knit rib stitch, but you still want to crochet? Well, today we're going to show you how to do that. It's a reversible 2x2 ribbing, just like this one, and also a reversible and stretchy 1x1 ribbing. They look just like the knit versions, but we're going to do it with any size hook and any size yarn today on Good Knit Kisses.
Welcome to Good Knit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches.
Are you ready to knit without needles on your crochet hook? Well, this is not loom knitting to look like knitting, but this is actually crochet that looks like knitting. And we're going to be working on a 1x1 and a 2x2 ribbing. Now, what does that mean, Kristen? That means that you have a column of knit and a column of purl. The 1 or the 2 refers to how many columns of rib are next to each other. So we've got a column of knit stitches, which usually is the rib part. So we've got one column of knit stitches and then one column of purl stitches on this one. And it's actually much stretchier than the 2x2. You can see this one here. They're great for brims of hats and sweaters and edges, but you could do a whole blanket out of it. And it is reversible. But the 2x2 has a column of knit stitches next to another column of stitches that look knit. And then you've got 2 more columns that look like the purl stitches. And so those are reversible as well. So on the opposite side of these knits, it looks like purls right here. Okay, so that's the main difference. And then of course the 2x2 isn't as stretchy as the 1x1, but it has a really great look, and these especially look great in blankets and things like that. So let's grab our supplies, and to get the pattern written out for both of them, go click down in the links below, grab a light smooth yarn, whether the weight is this one, which is a super bulky 6, or you can even use a 4. Just use the appropriate hook. I'm working with an 8mm today with this bulky yarn. Grab your supplies and we'll begin. Oh, and bonus, if you stick around, I'm going to show you how to weave in the tails on ribbing to where you get a really nice finish like this one here. So we'll have that in the very end. Working a rib stitch with your crochet hook is actually worked side to side. So if you have a length that you want these ribs to run, a rib is just this long column of what looks like a knit stitch. So if you have a certain length that you want those, then you're going to want to start your foundation chain with that length. So if you want a blanket that's 36 inches long by 24 inches wide, then you're going to want to make your beginning chain 36 inches long. Okay, and then you work until your until your project measures 24 inches, for example. Okay, if you want to make a small brim to a hat, then say something like this one, then you'd only chain maybe 1 to 2 inches for this brim, and then it would get attached onto your hat, or say an edging of a blanket or whatever you're putting it on. All right, so let's begin by making a slip knot, and then you're going to chain however many chains you want. Okay. This is how I begin mine. I wrap it over my finger twice, take the back loop of the front once, and one more time up and over, put it on my hook, and then we're going to go ahead and chain the length that we want. I'm going to do 8 in this video just for tutorial purposes. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now you have the length that you need. Go ahead and pause your video and get there. All right, now you're going to add a turning chain. Okay, this is on top of the length that you need. And I would go ahead and count before you do your turning chain. You can count how many chains you have here, and then that way when you do the first couple of rows, you know that you've gone in to exactly how many stitches you need. That way it's always going to be a nice and square setup. You're not going to have it to where you just get smaller and smaller. We want to make sure that our ribbing is always the same length. Okay, so the first row into our foundation chain, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So here's our hook. That first chain is the turning chain, and we're going to the second one just straight into there. And this is actually the back loop. Okay, we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and then we're just going to slip that stitch. Just slip right through. This whole thing is working through the back loop and slipping. So go into the next loop here, pull up a loop. So we were yarning over, pull up a loop and slip. Okay, go into the next loop on your chain and yarn over and slip. Okay, go into the next one, yarn over, pull up a loop, and slip. Okay, so I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go across 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you don't go into that slip knot there, you just ignore that. Okay, so we're going to make a turning chain, and then we're going to turn our work. But before we do, let's look at these stitches here. So what we just made are these V stitches that go across. Okay, so we have this loop here, and then we have the one down below. But when we turn it, let's kind of keep focusing on this here. Let's turn. Okay, if we kind of tilt it up this way, we can see what we were just looking at. But if we tilt down this way, you're going to notice a loop here, and then you see one down below. You're ignoring the one down below. You want to go into the one that's in the back, okay? So ignoring the very first turning chain, we're going to go into the first back loop here. So just go straight in there, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then slip. Okay, once you get the first few done, you can really see them very well because your yarn is going to pull from there and you can just kind of follow along. So go into the next stitch, yarn over, and slip. Again, next stitch, pull up a loop, and slip. Next stitch, yarn over, and slip. And keep going across. Pause your video as you need. This should be 7. Let's go ahead and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then there's this last one here. So if you stop short, your work is going to be, it's going to become like a trapezoid. So you want to make sure and get this very last loop. It may be harder to see and you might have to use your fingers to find it. But there it is. Pull up a loop and slip. Okay? So you're just going to keep repeating that row. We're going to make a turning chain, turn it around, and remember to skip that very first chain that you turned on, go into that back loop, and yarn over, pull up a loop, and slip. Go into the next one, yarn over, and slip. And as you do this, just keep walking and going across as I'm talking. You're going to notice that it forces these ribbed columns to stick out on either side every other row. Here's this very last one here. Okay, I'm going to get my turning chain. All right, do you see how right here is, it looks like a column of ribs here, and then we have this little edge right there. When we turn and we work this row, it's going to force this part forward, okay? So let's turn this over and we'll see what the other side looks like. Okay, so you can see this one down a little bit further and it looks like there's some purl stitches down below. All right, so let's do this again. We're going to go into the back loop, yarn over and slip and go across. You can pause your video, slow down, speed up with the controls there on the video if you need. I just want to get through here and show you a few of these done. That's really it for the 1x1 ribbing. It's very simple. And once you know this, you can go into the 2x2 very easy and chain. All right, so do you see we have a knit column here, and then we have a knit column right here, and in between it looks like little purl bumps, these little bumps. Let's turn it around. And you can clearly see the knit column here and the purl here. So you just continue on to however many ribs you want, and it's going to look like something like this. When you're ready to complete it, you're just going to cut your yarn and pull it on through and weave in your tail. All right, so next let's do the 2x2. The 2x2 is a great rib stitch. It's nice and dynamic. It lays open. You can see the purl stitches, and it isn't as stretchy as the 1x1 where the 1x1 kind of hides those purl stitches, but it does lay open and nice, especially if you're making a big blanket and you want to make it look just like ribbing. So if you do want something stretchy and smaller for say a brim or something, then you're going to want the 1x1. Other than that, the 2x2 is great. Just like the 1x1, you're going to have a foundation row working the length of your rib. So you're going to be working side to side, and you want to go ahead and make your chain the length of that rib. So let's start. I'm going to do this one again with 8. So go ahead and do your slip knot and pause your video as you need. And I'm going to go ahead and work 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so just like the 1x1, go ahead and make your chain, pause your video as you need, get it to the length that you want, and then you're going to add one more for a turning chain. So one more chain. There we go. All right, so this one for sure we need to study that we have 3 loops to work on. We are going to work in this back loop first, and once we get this set up, you're going to see how knowing all these different loops is going to be helpful in this tutorial. Okay, and in this stitch. So we're going to work in the second chain from the hook, just like before, but you're going to yarn over first. Okay, go into that second chain and yarn over and pull up a loop. Now, in this case, we're not going to be doing what would be a half double crochet where you would yarn over and pull through all of them. You're going to do something a little bit different and pull through this loop that was a yarn over before, pull it through both of these 2 stitches. It's a little bit different. You may have to use your fingers to pull through. Okay, and so what it does is it adds a little bit of a height. All right, we're going to do that on the next stitch as well. Make sure you're not going to that same one. Go into the next one, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop, and then pull through 2 loops. Okay, so you're just left with 1 loop on your hook. Do that again, yarn over, go on the next stitch, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through both loops. You're going to continue doing that until you get to the very end. So pause your video as you need. This is the foundation row. My last one, and pull through. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1. Now, we start our 4-row repeat right here. Now, rows 1 and 2 are going to be exactly as the foundation one. We're going to be working into that same loop. Go ahead and turn your work. Now, just as before, when you're turning, you can see this is my chain at the top with the V stitches that go along here. We're going to be going into this loop right here. Now, not the turning one, but this loop here. This is actually going to be the back loop. So let's turn it around. You can see here's the back loop, and here's the front loop, and then down below you see this loop down here. We're going to be working with this later on rows 3 and 4, but ignore it for now. We're going to go into this back loop here, but first yarn over, go into that loop, yarn over, and then pull through both loops. Now that you got the first one established, you can do that again very easily. Go through the next loop, pull up a loop, and pull through 2, and continue across. Pause your video as you need. Remember, don't make a half double crochet. In the very end, make sure that you count because this one right here, you might be tempted to stop short, but there is one more stitch here. So go all the way to the back. Oh, and see, I didn't yarn over. So let's go ahead and yarn over. Go back here. Pull up a loop, go through, and then go ahead and chain 1. That was row 1. Now we're going to turn and we're going to yarn over and do it again. So go into the back loop and pull through and go through all of them. So go ahead and complete row 2, pause your video, and I will meet you back up for row 3. All right, I have got one more stitch here. Again, it's kind of hidden back here. Pull up a loop, pull through, and chain one. All right. Now you can see that it looks like I have 2 columns of knit here, and then I have this sort of beginning of a purl. But this column right here is not actually facing the way it needs to be. It's actually going to be kind of shoved this way and make it look more like a rib stitch on this side. And in order to do that, we have to make rows 3 and 4 different. So we're going to turn this over. Okay, you can actually see this one being set up over here. All right, so we're going to yarn over, and then we're not going to go in the back loop. We're not going to go in the front loop. We're going to go into the lower bump here, okay? The lower front loop. So go into this one. So we're going upward into it, okay? Not this turning chain. Go right up into here, and then yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through 2, just like you've done before. Okay, yarn over, we're going to go into the next one. And once you've done that first one, it's a lot easier to see this one. It's all set up in the right way. Yarn over, pull through both. Let's do that again. Yarn over, go right up into this loop here, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through. So yarn over, go into that lower bump, up through the bottom, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through both loops. So continue all the way across. Again, be sure and count your stitches until you get the first 4 rows or so done. It's good to count just to make sure that you've got them all. Especially the first stitch and the last stitch are the ones that you really need to pay attention to. The middle ones are a lot easier to see. Okay, I've got one more left. See, it looks like it might look to you like you're done, but you're not. There's one right here. Okay, yarn over, pull up a loop, and go through. All right, so we're going to do our turning chain again, and we need to see how this all looks like a bunch of purl. I promise it looks right on the other side. So we're going to turn around, yarn over, and we're going to go through this one. It looks like I actually have 3 columns of these ridges, okay, these ribs, but this one is going to get turned the other direction. So we're going to go down into this bump here. This is that front bump, that lower front bump, okay? Yarn over and pull through both. All right, and then yarn over, and now this one's set up right, and pull through both and continue across. Just keep repeating. Pause your video as needed. I'll meet you back at the end. All right, one more. Oops. All right, now we need our turning chain. Okay, and now you can see that we have 2 ribs that are totally standing out alone, and then it looks like we have some purls set up. Let's turn her over. And look at that. You can see the purls here, and then we have another knit column emerging, and then this one doesn't look totally finished yet. It looks kind of poofy on this side. That's because we need to start setting up for row 1 now. Okay, so we're going to be going into this back loop here. So yarn over, and we're going to repeat starting with our row 1. We go in, we skip that turning chain, go into the back loop, and pull up through both. Okay, so yarn over, go into the back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and slip through both, yarn over, go in the back loop, pull up a loop, slip through both, and continue across, just like that. And pause your video as needed. I'm going to kind of speed through this a little bit so you can see how it starts coming together. After you get the first few repeats done, you'll really start to see how this pattern emerges. Okay, I'm going to turn, and we're going to go into the second row, and we're going through the back loop again. Oops, okay, I split some yarn right there. Hold on. There we go. Turn. And we're back loop again, and go across. Okay, chain, and then repeat again, row 3. We're going into the front loop here and pulling through and going through 2, go through the front loop, yarn over, pull through both, and continue. Okay, so you just keep going across. You can see how this column is set out now. Let's turn it over and you can see how it's starting the next repeat here. Let's look at my other sample over here. You can see I've worked through 2 repeats, and this part is where I finished out a row 4, and you can see how I've got these columns here. So just imagine this is much longer and it would look like that. Really cool, right? Okay, so now that you know how to do that, we can show you the bonus on how to weave in your tails when you have these columns here. Let's do that now. All right, so to weave in your tails, you're just going to need a blunt end tapestry needle. I like this one from Chibi that has a bent edge on it, a bent end. It works really well for me. Go ahead and thread your yarn tail. And what I love about ribbing is we can go through the side of these V-stitches. So make sure on the side where you can see the columns of V's go like this, where you can see the right and the left leg of that V-stitch. If you're on the other side, like right here, and you can see the V's are coming this way and your tail is down on this end, then just take your needle and poke it through to the other side right here so that it comes up either in between the columns or just along the edge. If it's right along the edge here, I'd rather just go into the next one over, even if you're working on the 1x1. Okay, and then now you're going to do is just come through the back, go through the right leg here, back through the middle here. So around the side, through the middle of the V and pull through. Okay, and then you're going to do that on all of these, and you can individually do it like that, or here's the fun part. Let me turn it so you can kind of I'm going to bend this so you can kind of see me sort of whip around here. So I'm going to come up through the back like I did, and then I can take this little bent part and then I can just whip around to the back like this, just sort of whipping my needle around. And when I run out of room, just kind of pull that tapestry needle through, tug on it, and then just kind of tug down on that column so that where you retain the stretchiness that you need, and then just finish it out by going through those stitches and give it a nice tug before you go in any other direction. And then what I like to do is come over to the other side around the other leg, okay, and then come through the back of those that next V-stitch this way, okay, and then come through the back again and sort of split the yarn. We're going to go through the back of those stitches, pull it, and I'll pull up this way, and then now you can just trim your yarn, pull that, and it looks fantastic. And that is nice and woven in. Well, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial today, working on the 1x1 and the 2x2 ribbing. Please be sure and comment down below and check out our next video on knitting and crochet. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.